The tallest point in all of Africa is a dormant volcano that has a theoretical potential to erupt again one day, and it is truly special. With multiple small glaciers on its summit, Mount Kilimanjaro rises to an altitude of 5,895 meters or 19,341 feet above sea level. The reason why this volcano was able to grow to such an impressive size was that it did not simply form a single central peak. Instead, if you look at Kilimanjaro from an angle, you can see that the volcano has three distinct regional high points. These high points are all individual stratocones which are nested on top of one another. From west to east, these cones are known as Shira, Kibo, and Mawenzi. Kibo, the tallest cone, would erupt on the already raised area aided by the presence of volcanic deposits from its two neighboring stratocones. This is why Mount Kilimanjaro might at first be incorrectly interpreted as a shield volcano when in fact it is a stratovolcano. Mount Kilimanjaro is located in northeast Tanzania, where part of its volcanic complex straddles the border with Kenya. Kilimanjaro formed on the eastern segment of a geologic feature known as the North Tanzanian Divergence. Here, a more mature rift zone to the north, specifically an active divergent plate boundary, becomes broader and more immature, occurring across multiple smaller segments since it is still forming. When deep magma that was generated in the vicinity interacted with a presumed lineament that ran near perpendicular to nearby local early rift faults, it acted as a path of least resistance for it to travel upwards through. Thus, for the last 3 million years, a chain of volcanoes that eventually included Kilimanjaro formed on this feature. The first cone to form at Kilimanjaro was its westernmost, specifically Shira, as it began erupting 2.5 million years ago. Its eruptions were moderately explosive, and the lava which built this cone initially had the composition of basalt. As a result, the slopes of this volcanic cone grew to be gentler than most stratocones, although the lava which did erupt became more viscous and alkali-rich over time. By 1.92 million years ago, overlapping layers of lava and ash caused Shira to grow to an impressive height of 4,300 meters. During the waning stages of activity at this cone, its summit partially collapsed into a caldera. Whether this occurred due to a large flank eruption or a long drawn-out process due to the solidification and contraction of its underlying magma chamber is uncertain, but regardless, this cone lost significant height as a result. For the next 920,000 years, no additional eruptions occurred. Then, 1 million years ago, a new volcanic cone emerged from the ground 16 kilometers to the east of Shira. This cone, known as Kibo, subsequently started erupting in a similarly explosive manner to the previous cone. After 50,000 years of intermittent eruptions, a third volcanic cone to the east began to concurrently erupt with Kibo. Eventually, this cone, which was called Mawenzi for a time, became the dominant of the two active vents. Over the subsequent period of several 100,000 years, erupted material from these two cones piled on top of one another, forming a very tall volcanic complex. Then, 450,000 years ago, Mawenzi erupted for the last time. Its edifice has since been highly eroded, with the deepest of its erosional ravines draining to the northeast. As explosive eruptions at Kibo continued, it eventually became tall enough that a permanent glacier began growing on its summit. As a result, many subsequent eruptions melted a portion of these glaciers, generating mudflows referred to as lahars. By 200,000 years ago, Kibo was 6,200 meters tall. Yes, that's even taller than Kilimanjaro is today. However, a series of flank eruptions which formed cinder cones and strombolian eruptions occurred around this time, and one of these removed a large enough volume of magma that it caused Kibo's summit to also partially collapse into a caldera. The Ruche ash pit vent, with still active fumaroles at its summit, formed via an eruption of phonolite lava 175,000 years ago. However, that wasn't the last activity at this volcano. In fact, the last confirmed eruption at Kilimanjaro occurred 46 kilometers away from its summit, creating the Lake Chala tuff cone and a highly explosive eruption 150,000 years ago. Whether or not Kilimanjaro will ever erupt again is uncertain, but as we see from its prior more than 500,000 year-long period of inactivity this volcano had, the potential could exist. If Kilimanjaro does erupt again, I'd interpret a flank eruption forming a new cinder cone in a Strombolian manner as the most likely type of activity, with this also producing medium silica content and alkali-rich lava flows. As a final note, I would like to thank this channel's patrons on Patreon and channel members on YouTube for supporting my work.